What's going on, you guys? Griffin here with Country Slickers, and we wanted to do a quick video today for you guys to talk a little bit about my 5 top features on the KRX 1000 from Kawasaki. So the reason that I bought the machine, the reasons that I continue to praise it, the reasons that I continue to run it, and a couple of the things that over the last 3,200 kilometers with the machine, the stuff that I've really come to appreciate that I don't necessarily see on the other competing brands. So that would be the Can-Am Maverick X3, the Polaris Razor for sure, the Razor Pro XP and the Pro R. And even, you know what, I start to see a little more people running the Segways or the CF Moto machines as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the KRX 1000, what it does really well, and 5 of the top reasons why I picked this machine, and I stand by those reasons up to today. We'll be right back after this short introduction.
Grabbing my bear spray. We are way out here. We need to be on that side. Unfortunately, we were going down a trail exploring. Trail fix. Good. Yeah, good.
Rim exploded. Look at this.
In business. Minus the shock.
At this time, we'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors for making this YouTube channel possible. Hey guys, so we're back and we're talking about my 5 top features that I love about the KRX 1000. So number 1, and this is a big one, the number 1 reason why I love this machine as opposed to so many of the other ones out there, I took a look at all of them, but the number 1 reason that really drove me towards this one is the selectable lockers. So every other manufacturer has some sort of a version of a locker up front.
Yeah, they're gonna probably just idle up this. Yeah. They're wide enough that they don't hit the rocks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just ran around everything.
Yeah. Some asshole with his Kawasaki.
Don't run me over!
The one that comes closest is going to be the Maverick X3. So they have that quick lock or smart lock system in the front. It works pretty good. It's not as good as the KRX, I don't think, because it does take an actual half a revolution and detect slippage before it kicks in. If you are full on the gas and turning, it will actually unlock. And I've seen it before, even on the newer ones, where you're going up something, guys will turn and it only spins 3 wheels. You won't get that 4-wheel engagement 100% of the time, whereas the KRX has a selectable 4-wheel drive lock on all 4 tires. You're getting all 4 spinning and you really get that power. So where does that help you? The slow technical stuff, specifically the rock crawling, that's a huge one if you're climbing up over thick logs, anything like that. And then as well in the snow, having the snow where you don't have to just hammer it and start digging down all tires. If you have the locker on, you can really get a lot of traction, move the machine forward, and then you're good to go. So that's the number 1 feature that I really, really like about the KRX 1000 from Kawi, is that they have those selectable locker on there. Number 2, and this is another really big one, and I think my fiance will probably appreciate it a little bit more than I do even, but that's the interior room. So when you're sitting inside the KRX, you have a ton of room. And that's in comparison to any other machine. I don't care which machine you're running, this one blows it out of the water. 2-seater for 2-seater, this one has a ton of room. You have 4 drink holders, 2 in the front, 2 in the center console. The passenger actually has a 5th one that I believe was purposed for a fire extinguisher, but you can also put a beverage in there should you so choose. You've got tons of room in between you and your passenger. You're not constantly bumping shoulders. Every time I get into a Razor, that's the first thing I notice, is that I'm crowded, I'm cinched up next to the guy beside me or the girl beside me. So I definitely find that the interior room is really, really nice. There's lots of room to move around. Storage wise, so you can see behind me here in my machine, so I keep a storage dry bag with a spare belt, some tools, an extra rain poncho, and a couple other essential things that I think are important to have with you on the trail. I keep that all behind my seat. I also have a chainsaw back here if I need to zip a tree off out of the trail, anything like that. And then on the other side, I literally have a good foot, 1.5 feet by 4 feet of storage behind the driver's seat as well. The KRX does have the adjustable slider seats, so you can go forward or backwards to create a little more or a little less room. So it accommodates really big guys. I would not be surprised. I'm 6 feet tall. I fit in this machine no problem, and I don't have it all the way to the back. I have tons of room still to go. So if you're 6'4", 6'5", really big person, you're gonna have no issue fitting into this machine and feel very comfortable while doing so. Now, on top of that, the way they've designed this cockpit, you have a very low cast door on there that you can actually rest your arm on. I do that often when I'm driving. So it's just really well set up, and there's lots and lots, like I said, lots of storage. You have the top storage, you have your glove box. I actually have mine set up with a little bit of expandable storage so I can put my, my tablet up here and run my map system. But there's just tons and tons of room on the interior of this thing. You're never gonna feel crowded with your passenger. You have room for gear. You have room for stuff behind the seats. So it's really just really nice setup that way in comparison to some of the other machines. That really stuck out at me. Number 3, and this is a little bit subjective, but reliability. I've had a couple breakdowns on this machine for sure. Everything that I have broken on this has been covered by warranty. So I've gone through, I'm at 3,200 kilometers on this machine. It's a 2023, and there are a few failures that I've had for sure. But as far as failures go, Kawasaki has stepped up on the warranty and paid for everything. They haven't left me high and dry on anything. It does suck when your machine's down, but that is just machines. In terms of the things that should have broken though, that have not, so a belt. I replaced a belt at 2,500 kilometers simply because I'm used to replacing belts way sooner than that. Every second or third ride, I'd say, especially when I ride with guys with razors, it's not a shot at Polaris. I love the Polaris, but every time I ride with guys on the razors, it's a 50-50 shot whether we're gonna be changing a belt. They're always smoking belts. It seems like you get about 1,000 K and you have to be swapping that belt out. Now, I'm not sure if that's due to the extra power. I'm not sure if that's due to an inefficient cooling system. I'm not sure if that's to do with just a better brand needs to be used. But regardless, that is something that comes up a lot on the other machines. And I know they have more power, and that's probably to do with it as well. But I drive the snot out of this thing. It's almost always pinned because I'm trying to keep up to everybody else. Not a rocket ship, so I do have to work hard to keep up, and that belt does not blow. So 25, actually I think it was later than that. I think it was closer to that 3,000 kilometer mark. I changed out and put a fresh belt on there, but it did not have to be changed. I wasn't slipping, I didn't have any issues. I definitely could have run on that belt for easily, I'd say, another 1,000 kilometers. I actually keep that I keep that spare belt in the back of my machine now. So I was carrying a fresh brand new one, but the fact that the old one was in such good shape, I'm actually carrying that as my spare now because I trust it to get me out of the bush if I blow the other one. So a couple things that probably contribute to that is a really good cooling system from Cowie. The outlet on the exhaust for the belt is quite big for the clutches, so it keeps it nice and cool. And big feature on the Cowie, huge feature on the Cowie. If you look on the dashboard here, you actually have a temperature gauge for your belt, so you can tell when that belt's starting to heat up. The most I have ever seen it is 3 bars once when I was running 100 kilometers an hour down the road for an extended length of time on a fire road, going uphill in plus 35 degrees Celsius weather. So it's not something that heats up often, and I know that, well, everybody knows that heat is a major killer of the belts. So if you heat up that belt enough, that's when it starts to fall apart. These Cowie belts do not get hot, so that's a big one. So for reliability, belts, huge, doesn't burn belts. Another thing that's really important, I think, to look at is the way the machine is put together in terms of structural strength. So everything is double walled in terms of the weld points. Your arms are bigger and arched from factory. That's a huge stepping point. So whenever you do bang off logs and trees and roots, you're gonna do it at some point. These arms do not bend. I've actually hit on the front right tire. I hit a ditch doing 80 kilometers an hour and literally hit hard enough that I blew the rim in half. It exploded, and you can find that video back in my channel. I think that was last year around this time as well. But you can find that video. We absolutely destroyed this rim, and the A-arm, top and bottom, was fine. No issues. Upper lower A-arms didn't bend, no alignment issues. I literally slapped a new rim on it, and I've been driving on it ever since. No issues whatsoever. So super impressive there. Cooling system works well. Everything has worked beautifully in terms of the reliability aspect of it. So a lot of the things that you will see getting tweaked, things like A-arms, things like sliders, the belts are a big one for sure, but all of that stuff, it holds together really well. It's overbuilt for sure for the power you get. Ball joints are big, axles are big, double shear points everywhere are welded up. Really, really nice. You don't have to worry about tweaking or banging, and we've hit this thing off of lots. Very reliable machine overall. Number 4, really, really nice feature on the KRX 1000 that I think sets it apart from the rest is the suspension. So you will hear a little bit of noise when it comes to the suspension pressure. Sometimes these factory Fox shocks will come underfilled with nitrogen from the factory. I did do a recharge on this one, but in terms of the suspension, it's phenomenal. I ride often with the passenger. I always have someone beside me. We always have a bit of gear with us, second person. We've got a cooler with some snacks and some food behind us, as well as I've got the sound bar on there. This thing handles it all. So the suspension's plush. We've jumped this thing. We've ridden fast. We've ridden slow and technical. It's got 24 clicks of adjustment on each shock, which is very, very versatile. So you can set this thing up for very hard or very soft riding. Kawasaki does have an ES model as well that has your dynamic suspension on there. So you can change it from soft, medium, and hard, but phenomenal, phenomenal suspension setup. And that's not just to do with the shocks. It's also the geometry of it. The way the machine is set up, it just floats when you're going down the trail. And that's fast, slow, rock crawling, whatever. Really, really nice machine to ride in. It's very comfortable. And I don't care who you are, if you jump in this machine from whatever you're driving, that's one of the first things I always get. Wow, it feels really smooth. Wow, it feels really, really nice. It's very plush. It's very easygoing. It doesn't jar you when you come up to a bump. So very, very nice feature is the suspension on the KRX.
Mr. One Shot.
Fifth and final point that I wanted to make is the fact that this Kawasaki KRX comes as a full package from the dealership. So I opted for the trail model because I knew that I was going to be sometimes hitting trees. I'd be hitting roots, logs, stumps, bashing it through the snow, whatever, but from the factory. And this is something that not every manufacturer offers, but Kawasaki sent this thing out the door with front and rear bumpers, full doors, a winch, rock sliders on the side, metal underside to the carriage. Not all of it's the thickest, but it is full metal on the underside, whereas some only come with plastic. Wheel liners. All metal on the inside of these wheel liners. These are a metal wheel liner. So if you do have a stick or a rock come through, it's not going to break the plastic from jumping up off the wheel. It's not going to come through and hurt you. It's metal. They thought of this. So that's a really nice feature. The doors are a really big one. Not a lot of manufacturers send these things out with a full door. Some of them only come with a half door, and you actually have to buy all of these things separately. And by the time you buy, say, a $30,000 machine and add door inserts, a winch, bumpers, sliders, skid plates, a roof. And a roof is another big one. Not all of them come with roofs. You're now adding all these accessories. You can be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 extra on your machine just to get it set up the way this one came out of the box. So those are my 5 favorite features on the machine. There's lots of stuff that I like about it, but these are the top 5 that stood out to me. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you love or hate about the Kawi. I'm definitely open to always hearing what's good or what's bad about it. But in terms of the machine overall, I love it. I would buy another one again tomorrow. If I wanted more power, for sure, I'd probably pick another manufacturer. But one thing that I really, really like, and I mentioned it, I think it was the 3rd or 4th point, was the reliability on this. Every time that I come home from work and go out to the bush, I turn the key, this thing starts, and I get to go riding. I can't say that about all the other manufacturers. There's tons of times that I call buddies up and say, hey, I'm going out, and they say, no, I can't go. Machine's in the shop, it's back ordered on parts. I know this isn't right, it might leave us stranded. So I always get to go, you know, and that's knock on wood, because I don't want to be stranded this weekend. We're planning on going out and having a heck of a weekend riding out at McLean, but it's a really, really solid machine. It's a really fun time, and it always starts, always runs. And, you know, again, knock on wood, but any of the parts that I have had to get fixed or replaced, it's been a quick turnaround, which is really, really nice. So again, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope I gave a little bit of insight into the machine. I hope that I gave you some direction on some of the good features to look for on this. If you have any other questions or you want me to review any other aspects, drop it in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Country Sucker out of here.